Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a little live stream today. We're at M1 Concourse in Pontiac, Michigan. And we're here because of a special event, the Viper Dream Festival. Now, there's several Vipers here from around the country and even from Canada. And they're here celebrating Woodward. It's the Woodward Dream Cruise weekend. So I figured, hey, we'll go through some of these cars. There's some spread out throughout the facility, but most of them are up here for a picture. But I figured, hey, we'll come up and look at some of the most rare one-of-one cars and check out what people brought. So here you guys go. You can tell that some of these guys use their cars big time because they are still dirty from driving them here all across the country and stuff. I love this plate. This one's from Arkansas, my 401k. And then next to it, we have a Gen 1 Viper. And the Gen 1 Vipers were all built at the Mack assembly plant. And the way you can tell it's a Gen 1 Viper right off the bat is Gen 2s all had the vents right here in the hood, as well as they had actual door handles. On the Gen 1, they didn't have door handles. You had to actually open it up from the inside. It also didn't come with a roof. But they were built at Mack from 1992 to 1995. The second Gen Viper from 1996. The GTS Coupe was the first one to be built at Connor, and that was started in 1996. So you had a Gen 1 RT10 in 96, and then you had a Gen 2 Coupe in 96. In 97, all RT10 production was moved over to the Connor assembly plant. But very nice car. And I love the Panda inside. Now, what's really unique about this one is it has a Hennessy kit. It's one of the early Hennessy kits. It's a 550. So this car has 550 horsepower. This is an ACR Extreme. You can tell it's an Extreme because it has the extra dive plank in the front and the bigger rear spoiler, as well as the bigger valance in the front too. This is the most hardcore track Viper they ever built. That was street legal, I should say. Hey guys. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here today, and M1 was nice enough to invite me to this event so I could see all the Vipers, because they know I'm a huge Viper fan. This one's awesome. This one looks like it's in granite crystal metallic, which is one of my favorite colors. This is another ACR Extreme. So you can see there's quite a few here. So let's take a walk around and see some more cars here. Again, you're going to see some 101 GTC program cars. You're also going to see a very rare Indy 500 1996 GTS Coupe. You can tell this is a GTC car mainly because it has unique stripes. And it has black and orange calipers, so it's a TA more than likely. This looks like it's a TA 2.0. Here's a snakeskin green car. Absolutely one of my favorite colors, if not my favorite. Yes, these cars here in this section are all Vipers. Now there's tons of stuff throughout the campus. You can see there's a tent over there full of classic cars. There's cars all around the track. Tonight they're going to be doing a garage tour for the Viper owners. There's supposed to be a talk at 2 o'clock that I'm going to be going to about Team Viper and their racing program. This is Striker Purple. If you followed me back in my days on Allpar, I actually was the first person ever to take a picture of this color. It's an absolutely gorgeous color. This is the same color that you see on that 2026 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat Jailbreak that they did a 101 of. Beautiful color. It has, I don't know if you guys can tell on the camera because it's so bright out, but it looks light purple in some pictures and then really dark in the back. Beautiful Viper GTS, and it was my second favorite paint scheme. Viper yellow, black stripes. Now here is a Gen 2 car. First of all, you can tell it's a Gen 2 right off the bat because it's got the Gen 2 hood with the NACA duct and the vents. You can also tell it's got the GTS coupe wheels, and then it has door handles. So this is a Gen 2 Viper. And the cool thing is all these cars were only produced right down the road, probably, well, I would say about, what, 20 minutes from here? At the Connor Avenue plant, which is now Connor Center, which houses all of Chrysler's historical collection. And these guys got to go to it yesterday. So they got to go there yesterday for a talk with Ralph Gilles, head of design for Stellantis, and the former design chief, Tom Gale. That's one thing I wish I would have been able to see. I was hoping it would be here, but no, it was there. This is really cool, this Viper here. It's made to look like a GTSR, but it has a Martini paint scheme on it. Super cool car. I'm gonna tell you guys something. The sun is super ultra bright, so I probably can't see a lot of your comments and questions until I get in the shade. So kind of be patient with me. There's a Viper Club of America edition car. You can tell right because of the Viper Club of America logo and the stripe. I believe they only built 50 of those cars. This is definitely a GTC car. Love this paint scheme. It's got the ACR paint scheme, but it's got a blue stripe with the red ACR tracer line. It's a ACR Extreme because of the dual dive planks and the massive spoiler. Now the difference between these spoilers is the Extreme is much bigger. At 150 miles an hour, this spoiler actually makes 1,500 pounds of downforce. Where if you get a TA 2.0 or the basic ACR, the spoiler's a little smaller, and it basically is a 1,000 pounds of downforce. So quite a bit of difference. And I will tell you that this car does not have a huge top speed because it's made to have all the downforce for cornering. Here is a Gen 2 GTS, probably still one of the best looking cars ever produced, still looks modern to this day. This person cleared out the amber marker lights, put GTS 2013 wheels on it. Still looks super sharp. Now this person put, looks like the TA dive planks and the front valance on it, but this is just a standard GTS coupe. It's got the TA spoiler on the back too. This here is a TA 2.0. So you can see, unlike the ACR, it has a smaller spoiler. Still has the same hood. That's the base SRT hood, but this one has dual dive planks. Also has a tow hook on the front, which is pretty cool too. This is a GT package. This sits right between the standard Viper and the GTS. This was a newer package for 2015, and later they introduced the GTC, which was the 101 program. And of course, Viper red with black stripes. This is a white GTS. Again with a TA spoiler, looks super nice. I love those fifth generation multi-spoke GTS wheels. Let's take a walk. Sorry if the camera's kind of jittery. Here we go. This is a first gen RT10. The only weird thing is it's blue. They never made a first gen RT10 in blue. So this is probably a car that was crashed and probably redone. But you can see they added a hardtop to it. You can tell it's a first gen, no door handles. It does have second gen wheels on it, but the hood is still first gen. This is a second gen. So these wheels came out in 2000. These are my favorite wheels for the Viper. A lot of people used them on Dakotas. You can tell because it has the vents in the hood, the NACA duct, and this one has a hardtop on it. This car is pretty much identical to this one. The only difference is, I heard the guy talking, there's like one little difference between the two, and I believe it's the wheels. So if you look, the wheels are different. Other than that, these are the same spec cars. Here's another GT, and you can see here, this is like in almost a gunmetal color with black stripes. This one has a body kit on it. This is a Gen 3 Viper. Has an aftermarket hood. Of course, Gen 5 in snakeskin green. This one has the saddle brown interior, the Napa leather in it. Not a huge fan of that paint scheme, like color with the interior, but I have to say snakeskin green is probably up there by far as my favorite actual color ever to be put on a Viper. Now, this has to be a 1995 car here. This is Viper Yellow. This is the first year they put a yellow paint scheme on the car. You can see it's a first gen, 3-spoke wheels, no door handles, and this one has a custom interior. And a little snake around the windshield, the rear view mirror. Here we go. So this is an SRT Viper. This is the standard car from 2013, but you can see they added a stripe, custom badging on it. And you're going to notice that the one thing we always talk about is if Viper comes back, these owners are very particular in how the Viper should be. The reason being, these cars are hand-built. If Dodge was to come back with a Viper, it would have to be hand-built. It would have to be built in the US. It would have to be this kind of layout, because most Viper fans would not buy a mid-engine car because it's not a true Viper. One thing that people don't understand is the Viper community is very tight, and most people that are owners, if you look at the factual figures, you're going to kind of laugh. 2.5 Vipers is what the average owner owns, so 2.5. It doesn't make sense, but that's because some people have 50 Vipers, but some have one. But if you actually do the numbers, most people that own a Viper have more than 2. This is another GT Viper in Viper Red. Probably a 2015 car, super clean. This is where it gets really interesting. This is a GTC car for sure. This is or not GTC, but this is a 1-of-1 paint scheme car here. You can tell it's in this really kind of off blue that's almost purple, like a periwinkle. This car was probably also crashed and probably redone, but it looks pretty good. I like the paint scheme on it. This is a Gen 4, you can tell because of the hood. The Gen 4 and Gen 3 look identical, except for the hood design and the wheels. The difference is under the hood. What makes it a Gen 4 is that instead of having an 8.3 liter V10, it has an 8.4 liter. So it produces 600 horsepower instead of 510. Here's a Gen 3 Viper right here with some really unique stripes. Now you can tell this one's been driven quite a bit because it's got some scratches here and there. It's got tow hooks. Definitely a track car, you can see right here. They go to Sebring, so this car's been all over the place. This one's done up to look like a pace car. Very cool. Again, ACR Extreme with the dive planks. Here's a GTS with dual white stripes and a tan interior. Inaugural edition. So if you know anything about the Viper, 2013, when they came out with the GTS, they built one striker red car for the very first person who got it at auction, and then the first batch were these inaugural editions. So these replicate the GTS Coupe, which is next to it. But this is a 2013 SRT, not Dodge, SRT GTS inaugural edition. Now this car right here is ultra rare. This isn't the actual pace car because that's down in the Chrysler collection, and that one has a sunroof. I actually got to drive that car when I was 16 years old, and believe it or not, I stalled it out. But anyways, this here is one of the very limited edition Indy 500 pace car replica cars that they built. So again, you can see it says 80th Indianapolis 500, May 26, 1996. And again, this replicates the car that Bob Lutz drove as the pace car that's down at the Connor Center now. Another beautiful snakeskin green GTS. And again, it's got the TA spoiler from the factory. And the stripes are really cool because they're like a snakeskin kind of wrap. So this is a 2017 car here. It's a GT. Super beautiful. Here's another Gen 2, late Gen 2 Viper RT10. We can tell because of the wheels. Even got a nice touchscreen in there too. I always love the interior of the Gen 2s. They're very basic, super clean, and this car just looks still modern. It's still probably the sexiest car that Chrysler has ever built, just because it's timeless. So, sorry, it's moving around a little bit. Hold on here. I'm trying to keep the camera straight, but the wind's picking up a little bit. Here's another snakeskin GTS, black stripes. And then next to it is a 2008 snakeskin, or probably, no, I'm sorry, 2010, more than likely, snakeskin green SRT10 Roadster with the 6-spoke wheels. This color is just killer. You can tell it's a little different on these cars. These cars were actually painted by Prefix. These guys were at the Prefix Rochester, or not, sorry, the Auburn Hills place yesterday. Prefix is awesome. They did all the paint jobs for the Gen 5 Viper, and they also did all the paint jobs for the last generation of Ford GT. They also built some but specialty versions of the Viper, the Gen 5 Viper, called the Medusa, which is a roadster, and then they had a Targa version of it too. This here, GTS, it's got some SRT graphics on it with the Punisher logo. And then next to it we have a normal SRT Viper, but you can see here it's got black stripes, super clean, the 5-spoke standard wheels, probably a 2013 or 14 car. Here we got a Gen 4 coupe. You can see that this is a Labor Owner Invitational car, VOI. Here's a GTS coupe with some really cool looking white, looks like BBS wheels. And then for our last one up here, this is a second gen ACR, and you can tell it's an ACR. Well, actually, this one isn't. It just has ACR badges, because if it was a true ACR, it wouldn't have fog lights. All Gen 2 ACRs had fog light delete and radio delete. But you can see there's a couple over there. Here's another one pulling up. They're all over the place here. So a very cool setup. Again, you'll see more pictures of these cars on Mopar Insiders probably on Sunday, because tomorrow we will be shooting live from the Woodward Dream Cruise. I will be at the Dodge display with my car on display with my dad with his 1979 Chrysler 300. So if you're wondering about the Woodward Dream Cruise, there's a lot of stuff going on. If you want to know more about what's going on for the Dodge and Chrysler displays, they're at different sections of Woodward. You can see the video I just posted a few minutes ago on the channel. So let me see if I can get in the shade and see what you guys said. But we're going to see more Vipers throughout the day. And then they got a whole tent of cool stuff over there. Well, let's go into the event center. I'll tell you what, it's beautiful out, but the sun is so bright right now. We've had nothing but 85 plus days We had 1 day of rain, and it is hot as can be.
I'm a race fan, probably like a lot of you, and I enjoy all kinds of racing. This particular race has to be the most exciting race I've ever seen of any kind. And this happened to be the final race of the 2016 American Flat Track season. And Brian, tell us what the standings were when you came into this race, and kind of set the stage for what we're about ready to see here.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words without telling you my life story, but
Over here.
you know, this is the final race of the season, and it was between me and kind of my arch rival at the time, Jerry Mees. He was the champion for the previous 2 years and beat me for the championship by just a few points. And this is the final race of the year after us arm wrestling back and forth all year for the points lead, and come down to we were only separated by 2 points going into this last race. So whoever beat who that day was going to be the champion. And it was a very treacherous track. It was probably 98 degrees in the desert of California. Santa Rosa typically isn't that hot at the end of the year, but it was unbelievably hot, which caused the dirt to be very dry, very rough, treacherous track conditions. There was actually 2 crashes earlier in the day, and at this time, this is the start of the final. We had actually lost a fellow rider that day that crashed, and it was in a horrible crash, and it was actually one of the few female racers in the sport, and she passed away. So it's not what you want to have in your conscience.
All right. Hold on here. All right.
And Brian,
Let me see what you guys
this is
said.
not the first time you've come close to winning a flat track championship. How many other close
Yeah, they're no
calls
joke
have
for sure.
before you finally broke through and won the championship?
Well, that's why this one was so special to finally get it done.
Oh, I believe it, Jacqueline. The one that Bob Lutz drove was the one that he paced the very first lap with. That's at the Chrysler Connor Center. But Buddy Lazier has the actual race-winning one. The one that has the sunroof is basically in your family's hands, or was in your family's hands. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna be shooting a little bit more from here. But if you want to see more Viper stuff, stay tuned. I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff here from the Viper Festival, Dream Festival. So, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys later.
We're all
Bye.
familiar with the